name's Mike Airy. I work as stage manager and keyboard technician for the band Deep Purple. I've worked for the band since 2006. As you may be able to tell from my surname Airy, my dad is Don Airy, so I work for him and look after his keyboards, and that is how I first started to work for the band.
I'm Tommy Alderson, and I'm the guitar tech for Deep Purple, and Steve Morse, of course. And I started with Purple in 2009, worked for Steve fairly frequently before that, but with Purple in 2009. It's coming into my 6th year. My job is to make sure all the guitars are in perfect order, setup-wise, and strings, and electronics, and his amplifiers. I take care of all his amplifiers. And make sure everything works the way he needs it to work.
So since you was born, you start to hang out with the band?
I've been around, you know, when he used to play in Ozzy Osbourne's bands, Rainbow, Purple. He's done a lot of session work with lots of different bands, so I've always been around musicians and music.
And when did you start to work like musician? And
I started to work, I mean professionally I started to work in 2006, but I have my own band as well, so I've done gigs and small tours with them. A band called Impact, who are quite heavy, a lot heavier than Deep Purple, so not to everyone's taste.
And what kind of music do you play?
Right now I'm in 2 working bands. One's like a Chicago blues kind of a thing, and I'm in another band with 3 girls and myself playing acoustic, and we play more bluegrass and folk and some pop stuff too. I have crazier time at my gigs at home. Yeah.
Tell something about your gigs.
It's bars. You know, I just do bars, and you know, our job is to get people up and going into it, you know, and keeping them there. You know.
what do you play?
I play guitar. I can play a bit of keyboards, but I know how to fix them. The Hammond organ is kind of my speciality. It's something that not many people now know how to fix and how it works, so I'm trying to become better and better every day and learn more and more. And this is the best place to learn it, because I'm surrounded by the best people. So.
Do you have maybe some band also? Or?
I play in a band myself, it's called Impact. It's kind of like a hardcore band. It's pretty heavy, so if anyone wants to check it out, we're on MySpace and Facebook. So,
okay, cool.
Impact UKHC.
Tell me more about your band also.
Yeah.
What kind of music?
Play guitar. Yeah, all original songs. We've toured a bit around Europe, Holland, Germany. We play all over the UK, supporting some big bands in that genre like Agnostic Front, Sick of It All, Madball. So it's something I enjoy, and it's very different from here.
Tell us something more about your dad.
He's a lovely guy, great to work for, fantastic musician, probably the best keyboard player in the world, I would say, although I may be a little biased, but as you'll see tonight, his playing is pretty unbelievable, and he can go from playing rock music, classical, jazz, and he can switch it around at the flick of a switch. So,
what was your feeling when you were a little boy?
I mean, as I was growing up, you know, to me, he's just my dad. You know, although he's a famous person, when he comes home, he's just dad. And when I was young, I mean, one of my first memories is he was playing in Ozzy Osbourne's band, and they were playing in Nebworth in England. And I remember walking around the side of the keyboards to see, you know, 80,000 people, and kind of just freaked me out and burst into tears and, you know, ran away. But it took a while to get used to, you know, large crowds and always been around that sort of atmosphere.
How does it feel to cooperate with those rock stars?
It's disorienting sometimes, you know, because you expect them to be, you know, like superhuman or something, and then you find out they're just people, you know.
Regular people.
Yeah, they're good people. I wouldn't do this if it wasn't the fact that they're really good people, because too old to put up with young rock stars, you know. But these guys are really cool.
How many people work with you in crew?
9?
9 people.
Typically, 9 or 10.
It's on the stage, near the stage.
Oh, on the stage? No, just on the stage is Well, I count our front house guy, Toby. He's amazing. Mickey Lee's bass tech, Michael's the keyboard tech, Louis our light guy. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. Props is our drum tech.
And how do you spend your free time? Do you have?
I play all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I have 3 different bands. I'm in the States.
On the road, when we have free time, I mean, there's a crew of 12 core people who are the backline technicians, the sound guys, production manager. We normally go out, we have dinner together, we socialise, you know, in the city we're in, we'll maybe go to a club or a bar. Quite a lot of drinking's involved usually. But yeah, it's like a big family really, so although we spend all day together every day, it's still nice to socialise and to see new places, and it's always nice to meet new people as well from different countries.
And how long you are on the tour? How many concerts do you have?
Roughly, I mean, on this tour, it's a month-long tour. So we never do any more than 3 shows in a row. So we'll normally do 1 or 2, then we have a travel day or a day off, and then the same again. So we've just come. Last night we played in Budapest. The night before that, we played. I can't even remember the city. We go to so many different places, and then from here we go to Bucharest. So we get to see lots of different places and meet lots of different people.
We have something interesting to share with us from the backstage stories.
It's again, you know, these guys are of an older crowd, so it's pretty tame and pretty routine. Nothing exciting other than the topless girls last night. No, just
Is that real rock star life like we had a chance to hear? Or was that?
I'm sure it was.
It was.
But I've only been, again, I'm a new guy. I've been here 6 years, and I haven't seen anything too crazy at all.
On stage, we often have people, you know, from the crowd get onto the stage, and they don't want to cause any trouble. They just want to meet their heroes. And Ian Gillan, the singer especially, doesn't like security to drag them off. He lets them have their minute, you know, next to him dancing, and then they get led away. We've had all sorts of things. We've had transformers set on fire. We've had speaker systems fall over, you know, and every night there's different problems with different, you know, there's so much going on up there. So that's why we're there, though, is to fix these things and make sure that the show goes on.
How they prepare themselves for a concert?
When they're on stage, you would never imagine, you know, they've got more energy than I have most of the time. But they normally before the show, it's not as rock and roll as everyone, you know, it's fairly, to keep going at this pace, you have to keep, you know, they like to have a drink after the show, but normally before the show they'll be sitting on their iPads or computers on the internet, reading a book, generally just socialising and having a good time. I think that's why they do it.
Why we don't have a new Deep Purple, something like a new strong band, new generation?
Oh, you mean some band that sounds that magnitude of musicianship? There's a few, not very many. The Foo Fighters, I think, are really good talent. You know, but I don't know. It's just, I think it's got. My theory is it's got a lot to do with the computer, and music, because people that don't play instruments can make music now. You know, you just steal a little bit here, you drag a little bit there, and you turn it into a song. They don't need bands anymore, and people don't learn to play like they used to. And technology now you have so much information out there. Like if you can learn how to play by numbers.
Yeah.
You know, you don't even listen.
Like in Guitar Hero.
Yeah, exactly. There's still good musicians. There's still mind-boggling musicians out there, but it's just not. It's a different thing now. Now the record companies don't invest in bands to develop them now. You know, now the record company won't even look at you unless you're already established. You know, it's kind of. So, you know, there's no way to live.
Is there anyone in the crew who don't know to play guitar if Smoke on the Water?
I think anyone who plays guitar can play the riff to Smoke on the Water. So it's something, I think it's in the Guinness Book of Records as being the one piece of music played by, I think it's 7,500 people they got together, I think in Poland, and played all together. So you might have to check that out, but as far as I know, that's true. So.
And how everything started with that? Do you know? Can you tell us some short story about that song?
From what I mean, the song is older than I am, so I wasn't even born. But from the stories that I've read, you know, the song, the words in the song almost tell the story of how it was written. You know, they were sitting at Lake Geneva in Montreux, and there was a fire across the water where Frank Zappa was playing, and literally the smoke coming across the water that. They started that line, and then I don't know if the riff came before the words, or I'm not sure, but it's become one of the most famous riffs of songs ever.
You know how we translate Smoke on the Water on Serbian?
No, how do you say it in Serbian?
Dim na vodi.
Dim na vodi.
You know,
okay.
Yeah.
I'll go into a guitar center in America on a Saturday morning, and you'll hear it 10 times. It's just weird.
I heard that in the stores in the USA, they also like a paper with the words "Don't play."
Oh yeah, there's signs. Yeah, no Smoke on the Water, no Stairway to Heaven, and like 3 or 4 other songs.
Stairway to Heaven also. Huh?
Hush, hush, I thought I heard you calling my name. Now hush, hush, she broke my heart and love you to me. Now hush, hush, I thought I heard you calling my name. Now hush, hush, she broke my heart. I'm not to blame now. Early in the morning, late in the evening.
What do you think? What is the most important thing that keeps them together so many years?
I think it's the music, their love of, you know, they're all fantastic musicians and very good at what they do, and it's their love of playing together, and also the feeling they get from the audience when they, especially now that, you know, the front rows are often 14, 15, 16-year-old kids who are kind of discovering Purple, you know, from their parents or grandparents. So for them to see that joy that they're still bringing 40 years later, it keeps them going. It's the, you know, the adrenaline rush. They say going on stage you can't get a bigger buzz than, and we're lucky. I'm lucky to be part of it, and I'm not even playing, but I'm on stage during the show, and you feel the energy from the audience, and it kind of lights you up. And places like here as well, the best crowds in the world, definitely. The most enthusiastic, the loudest. So this tour has been really good for us to visit Scandinavia at first, and then move into sort of Denmark, Norway, and then, like I say, we've just been in Hungary, and we go to Romania. And we find these sort of places where, in America or England, where there's bands playing all the time, it's not such a special thing, so they kind of, but in these sort of places where there isn't as many bands coming through, it's the people, it's a big thing for them.
What inspires you the most to play music, to live that life?
I think, you know, I didn't really have my finger on it until the last few years. It's just bringing enjoyment to people. You know, I can sit and play all day by myself, and that's fun. But it's a whole different thing when you're playing with people and they engage. You know, and you can exchange energy. You know, get to know people, and it's just an energy exchange, for lack of a better word. You know, but you know, interacting with people. You know, in a fun way. You know, that's pretty much it, really. I mean, I can play really simple stuff And if people are liking it, I'm happy, content to play it.
The main inspiration for me, I mean, being able to work for a band as big as Deep Purple, as famous as Deep Purple, I feel very honoured to be a part of it. You know, every night when I go on stage with them, I feel proud that I'm part of the organisation and part of making the shows happen. And like I say, when you see the audience reaction and people so happy, it's, although you're only a small part of it, you feel like you've had something to do with it. So it makes you feel good, and it's better than working in a bank or in an office. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do that. This type of work is for me, and it's not a lifestyle that everyone can do. You know, the travelling. It's not all rock and roll. It's not all glamour. We have lots of sitting around in airports, and you know, some of the hotels we stay in are not always the nicest. But it's just to be a part of an organisation like this that's so well run and working with some of the best musicians in the world.
They did their new record last year. That turned out really well.
Critics are very good for new album.
Yeah.
How they have so strong in that years to make so good album? What do you think?
I'll tell you, I expected it to be good, but I didn't expect it to be as good as it. You know, and I was fortunate enough to go to Nashville with them when they did the record and do some of the technician work there, and I was really blown away how good it was. You know, I expected it to be pretty good. I didn't expect it to be really good.
The new album was recorded in Nashville, in America, with Bob Ezrin, who produced The Wall. He produced it. I was actually there while they were recording it. It was a pretty incredible time. They had kind of 2 writing sessions before that, one in Spain and then one in Germany. So it took a year and a half to get the songs written and finely tuned, so that when we went to Nashville, everything was ready to go. And we basically went in, and they recorded obviously a few more tracks and then picked what they liked. But it was very interesting for me to see how the songs, when they'd first started the writing sessions, how they kind of, you know, someone go, oh, let's do this, let's try this. Let's do this, you know, I'll do a different drum beat, and you see how it kind of grows into the final song, and then, you know, you sit and listen to the CD and you go, wow. You know, I remember when that was just, it sounded completely different, and now it's sort of morphed into something amazing, and it's an amazing album, it really is. And it seems that the fans really like it, and we're playing about 5 or 6 of the new songs, and they're being very well received, so it's good.
Do you have some favorite song from your album?
My favourite song is probably Après-Vous, which they also open the show with. I just think to me it's typical Deep Purple and typical kind of classic rock, which is what I enjoy. So.
East coast of USA. I'm in northern Delaware.
Yeah.
Actually, now I have a house in middle of Delaware too, and it's about 2 hours south of New York.
Tell me something about your town.
My town?
Your town. Yeah.
Well, I live in two places, but it's such a small state. It's pretty rural, you know, country. There's the capital, Dover. It's not a very big city, but it's borderline a city, but big racetrack, NASCAR.
Yeah.
And in Wilmington, where my other house is it's more like a corporate. A lot of banks, you know, because of the corporate tax law in Delaware. Every bank in the USA is in Wilmington, Delaware.
I was born in London. I now live between London and Cambridge, just in a small town, far enough away from London, which is very busy, too many people, but I can get in on the train in 30 minutes, so I spend a lot of time in London working and partying and having fun, so.
Okay, cool. When did you came to Serbia first time?
Yeah, the first time I came to Serbia was in 2006. I I believe it was on one of the first tours that I did, or first or second, so it was still very new to me. I remember very clearly it was snowing, it was very, very cold, and we played, I don't know the name of the arena, but it was a much older arena than this, and it was absolutely packed, and the crowd just went crazy, and lots of young people there, and the noise when the band came on was almost deafening. It was, you know, the crowd cheering, and it was pretty special.
On tour, the techs half the time don't know where we are.
Really?
Yeah, because we wake up, we get in the shuttle and come from the hotel to the venue or the tour bus, and we set up. Usually noon we're setting up, and do our line checks and eat and hang out a little bit, and then tonight we'll get on the bus and we'll go to the next city.
What do you like the most here? I mean,
there's some very pretty girls. But it's just very honest people, honest, hard-working, friendly people. So, and some beautiful countryside as well, which I'd like to see a bit more of.
Do you know maybe any Serbian words?
The only word I know, which I think is thank you, which is hvala. Is that correct? Hvala? Hvala. So that's the only one, but I try to learn a little bit of every. We go to so many countries, though, it's very hard to learn every language. But I try to learn to say please and thank you, and people like it.
Will we see this guitar on the stage tonight?
Yeah, this is Steve's number 2. This travels with me everywhere. Steve travels with number 1. I travel with number 2. And, this goes with every gig. This guitar's on and number 1's on.
This tour, it must be around 25 shows, I think, over 3.5 weeks. So it's pretty hard schedule. But they're already talking about another album, which is good news. And they see no reason to stop at the moment. While people still want to see them play, they'll keep playing. So that's.
When you will be with your father on the stage?
I'd like to be here for many, many years to come. Many years to come. It would be. Well, it pays for my house, so that's good.
Will you come maybe to Serbia again?
I would imagine, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
with your band?
My band's, well, the girls, they all got kids, and one of them's a doctor and stuff, so they're not going anywhere. But you never know with the Rocket 88 Blues Band.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. I want to give you. I have a guitar pick. My guitar pick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just I'll give you 2 guitar picks.
Okay.
For you, so you can play and remember Serbia.
Oh, that's nice. Just the right size too.
Try, huh?
So do you have some message maybe for musicians from Serbia or for people from here?
Just if you're coming to the show tonight, I hope you enjoy it and keep rocking out to Deep Purple. And hopefully I'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you so much.
Is that all right?
We'll see you soon.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Cool.